Here's a GPU question for you. If prices actually improve pretty soon and availability is better, should you even buy it at this point? We're going to talk about the RTX 4000 series, when that's coming, and maybe if it might be a little bit better for you to wait. Today's video sponsor is going to be VIP-CDKdeals.com. Very simple process. You can get a Windows 10 Pro CD key using my coupon code CC20. You're going to get 30% off. That's a pretty cheap CD key. They work without any issues. I've used them on various builds. The activation process is very simple. You just go through their site, you put in my code, then you're going to go to checkout. You can use something like PayPal. Afterwards, they're going to give you the CD key, and then easily enough, you go into your Windows setting and you go into activation, put in your CD key, and voila, all of a sudden your Windows is going to be activated. And remember, if you do upgrade to Windows 11, you're also going to be able to transfer that CD key without any problem. It just does it pretty much automatically as soon as you install Windows 11. So remember to check out our sponsor. I'm going to leave the link below in the description, and remember to use code CC20 for a nice discount. Hey guys, Tiago here with Classical Technology. So let's talk directly about the subject. GPU prices have definitely been going up a lot. Availability improved a little bit. Sometimes you may actually find the GPU that you want during, some of these downturns with the crypto market. But the question is, if it does improve even a little bit more, if you find good pricing, good availability for the GPU that you want, is it something you should really go into at this point? Now, let's be clear. The RTX 3000 series still performs exceptionally well. You basically don't even really need an RTX 3000 to have a great gaming experience. You can have even something from the 20 series. People with 1080s, 1080 Ti's have been happily gaming during this whole GPU drought. So this isn't to say you need the next greatest and newest things, but let's be honest here. We're all PC enthusiasts. We like the next greatest thing. We want to get better frames per second. We want to be on constant improvement, see new, ideas, new curiosities to spike our interest, and a new GPU that's really powerful certainly will do that. So RTX 3000 series is going to be great for many, many years. But if you're going to buy one sort of now, the RTX 4000, slated for release a little bit later this year, perhaps a couple of months in the fall. Time generally does go by pretty fast, even though we're in the beginning of the year. Is it something that you can hold off on and use whatever GPU you have now? Because remember, when that comes out, if availability is a little better, and there's like an RTX 470, 480, it might be substantially better than what you have now, at least on paper, even though, remember what I said, in real world gaming, you may not really even notice a difference unless you're really pushing 4K and you want all the ray tracing. Then maybe you might want something that's a little bit more powerful. But if you have a 3000 series GPU, is it going to be worth the investment now, and a few months later, it's no longer the greatest thing? Now, if you have something sustainable that's doing your gaming experience justice, I would say wait until the situation is better. GPU prices now still aren't good. They're definitely not going to go down, but they may at least stabilize for the GPU that you want. And the most important thing here is going to be sort of the availability of a good quality GPU that you want. You don't want to just get sort of any random GPU that's overpriced just because you need something. Case in point, 6500 XT. Don't get that GPU. It's pretty bad in every single metric. You might as well go get an Xbox at that point, I think. So then that would be my advice. If you have something that's, okay for gaming now, hold off and let's see what RTX 4000 brings. We're not just talking about in terms of the frames per second and performance. We're talking about possible, maybe new designs, and most importantly, maybe a little bit more stable pricing and availability by the time they come out. It could go completely the other way. It could get even more expensive and harder to find. Don't get me wrong. Everything has been a little bit hard to predict during the last several years, but we're hoping, at least, we got to hope that it may actually be a little bit easier to get than the previous 3000 GPUs. And then likewise, if you really want to get a GPU now and you're on the fence, perhaps you need it, perhaps the GPU you have now broke, or it's not giving you the gaming experience that you want, then my recommendation would be try to find the fastest and best GPU that you can for the closest to MSRP that you can find it. It's still possible, like on my channel, I've talked a lot about, Best Buy will have the drops in store. Occasionally, they'll have canceled orders that you can go in and pick up. If you're lucky enough to live near a micro center, you might be able to get something like that. Other places, like in Europe, there are some stores that carry GPUs, but then it's more difficult outside of the US, and I completely understand that my European viewers and even people in Canada, when they say that, all right, the US is one thing, you do have availability in certain spots, but worldwide is a completely different case. But still, if you really look, you may be able to find something that for your area is at least as close as you can stomach for MSRP. Likely not going to be MSRP. Maybe you can catch somebody selling off their 3080 or something like that if they upgrade it to a 3090. You know, just be patient and look until sort of your sweet spot of performance and pricing come together. I wouldn't recommend overpaying for a GPU that may be, you know, yesterday's news in the next couple of months. So just, if not, if you really need it, just try to get the best deals. Use the tools that I've provided you guys on this channel, other YouTubers, other means of, you know, finding a GPU at MSRP. Certainly it's out there. Of course, once again, if you're in the US, you're going to be a little easier, especially near a micro center. But in other places of the world, you might have to use a little bit of creativity and, you know, just be persistent until you find the GPU that you need. But if you can wait, certainly makes sense to wait and see what's coming up. Who knows, maybe availability and pricing may change a little bit, even though things have been going up more and more in price. Maybe availability will be better if less people want to buy it. Then you may be able to get a faster GPU. It's just going to be more expensive in the future. The last question really you have to ask yourself, what games are coming out or available now that are going to take advantage of a 4090? Who knows how expensive that's going to be? I'm sure it's very impressive, but do you really need it? Even a 3080, 3070, you could play Cyberpunk in 4K, you know, dial in the graphics a little bit, change a few settings, you'll be more than fine. 3090, of course, is a massively good GPU, especially for content creation and for gaming. The 3080 Ti, 6900 XT from AMD even, that's definitely still a decent value because it seems to be one of the less price increased GPUs because it's not as good for mining and things like that as some of the NVIDIA GPUs. So all of those will play any game today pretty much at 4K and ultra resolution. Of course, ray tracing does give you a little bit of a penalty, but you do have tools like DLSS, and even AMD has their own FSR, you know, their super resolution sampling. So keep that in mind. What we have now is enough for today's game, and unless stuff, I guess Crysis 4 is coming out during the next few years, and that may be certainly pretty crazy in terms of its graphical intensity. If we're to go by what Crysis 1 was, can you play Crysis? Very, very famous. Now, we'll just have to see. Who knows if that's even a good game? It just has sort of that meme around it. So what great game titles there will be in the future. Definitely going to sort of help you decide if you really need an ultra powerful GPU, because a lot of people have been disappointed with some recent releases like Battlefield, and even Cyberpunk had its issues, even though I think it's still graphically a very beautiful game and fun to play. Alright guys, so let me know what you think down below. Should you buy now, or are we close enough to next generation that you should wait? It's been a few years already since the RTX 3000 came out, and technology does move fast, so people are going to be excited about the next generation, even with all of the wallops we've taken with pricing, availability, and just a general terrible market situation. People still have that bit of excitement there, which is good because that's what's going to keep PC gaming going well into the future. Remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.